Do you want to go out on your first ghost hunt? Or do you want to raise your chances at capturing the unexplained? I'll explain investigation process step by step. Tell you tricks investigators use to make you think they've encountered something paranormal. Do you know the practical uses for some of the devices you use or plan on buying? You might be surprised. Also, what to do if you encounter a ghost. Gather information about the location, historical records, newspaper articles, personal accounts, and documented paranormal activity. Besides historical data, speak with individuals familiar with the location, historians, librarians, and long-time residents. Going with enough people to operate and observe equipment is the most optimal, but make sure at least one more person will be there with you. Make sure you can access property without the cops being called or you being chased off. Obtain investigation equipment and supplies. It's been well documented investigators use the flashlight trick. It's a specific mini-mag light, twisting to turn on. Before they set it down, someone will twist it pretty much right to the halfway point, basically finding the sweet spot, where the light will be out. It will turn on and flicker after a few minutes. I'm mentioning the spirit box because you should keep voice recorder close to hear any answers. Be cautious. Radio stations and other electronic devices can contaminate your signal. Also, when choosing a speed, when you put in sweep mode, try different modes throughout, 15 to 30 minutes between changing. Not every word or sound will be paranormal. Even when you use sweep mode, radio stations will get through. In the end, you have to differentiate between what is natural and what's not. You can buy a Faraday pouch as an accessory. It acts as a shield from radio broadcast interference. Instead of buying the pouch, I found a hack and made my own. Basically, it's 3 strips of aluminum foil, taped around a plastic bag. The EMF meter, as most paranormal investigators call it, is usually the first piece of tech investigators purchase. You'll see it on every ghost hunting show you watch. Its purpose is to locate sources of electromagnetic radiation and provide a reading of the relative strength of the EM field. The investigators will look for sudden erratic readings or spikes from this device. In 1987, the Safe Range meter was marketed for electricians and people working in construction. Today, people who are concerned with EM fields. The K2 is handy for detecting locations that could be harmful. The company, K2 Enterprises, also makes devices for aggressive dogs and other safety and security products. Another trick investigators do is keep their phone close, as it will make the K2 go off. So, if you're not using it for the hunt, turn it off or keep it in your vehicle. The tiny ghost hunting, motion light balls you see on television have the best alternate use. As cat toys, they are motion activated, so when touched they light up. From my experiences, my cat loves them, and possibly a spirit does too. Your research on the history of the haunting will tell you if there's a certain object that could trigger the particular spirit. Prayer is one of the steps you will see below, but I also bring a cross, or rosary that's blessed. There are plenty of other options that you can use. Other forms of protection to bring along: dried sage, white sage, or desert sage, salt, turmeric, apply or consume, protective crystals, i.e. black tourmaline, blue kyanite, spirit quartz. There are plenty of more toys and tech that is out there to buy. It's up to you how invested you want to get. The plus side to having more equipment is the ability to catch an anomaly on more than one device. That makes it harder to debunk. Dress for weather. Think about bringing an extra set, comfortable shoes, snacks and water. Hunt on their time. If you know a certain period of the day incidents usually occur, plan around that time. Night time is always good, but it might not be the best time at that location. Introduce yourself, make them known of your presence, and you mean them no harm. Acknowledge that this ground is their home, and you are just a guest. Do not provoke them, mocking and messing around not recommended. Opening prayer. There are multiple prayers from the Bible that you can use as protection prayers. Remember, know where everyone on your team is, so you don't get false readings. Get your baseline of the area. You want to get a baseline of the area to detect possible man-made EM/F disturbances. Walk to the area first with your EM/F detector. Any hotspots mark your position, indicate time, and write down the reading. Giving the first person enough time to get ahead. Follow the same path. You want to get a temperature baseline using the spirit box's temperature gauge. If any unnatural rise or drop, mark your position, indicate time, and write down. Set up your equipment near your sites of interest. Hotspots during baseline readings, not considered a natural occurrence, and from what you learned from your research. Pick a spot to observe. Sit 30 minutes to an hour in your preferred spot. Take photographs while sitting and observing. You can start your active EVP session after 30 minutes of observation. After each question, wait 30 sec to 1 minute for a response. EVPs are sounds found under the principle of instrumental communication, electronic recordings believed to be deceased individuals. There are two kinds of EVP sessions, active and passive. An active session is when investigators are in a room conducting the session, asking questions, then waiting for a response.
Anyone or anything in here?
Others.
You can also sit in the room with the recorder and have a conversation with your fellow investigators. It could encourage spirit interaction. Don't overdo it. You need to give the voices a chance to be heard. A passive session is where the investigators are not actively asking questions. Set up your recording device in a room or enclosed area. Then leave the area with the recorder running, so it will be in complete silence. One problem that might occur is coming up with questions to ask. Start with basic, general questions and biographical questions. Ask about gender, age, and how many of you are there. Off of any early responses, start to ask specifics. Think about the questions that you will ask. Will they know what a cell phone looks like, or what a phone is in general? From your research, if you can identify the person entity, what time period are they from? They might not understand today's technology. Don't whisper, make sure you are loud, and enunciate your questions. Always note when you move, or make any sounds. If your cater spikes, continue to ask questions until you get specific answers. Be clear-minded, engage your senses. Pay attention to unusual sounds and smells, and any sudden changes in temperature. Collect all your belongings. Make sure you have everything, and don't take anything that's not yours. Before my team steps off the property, we end with a closing prayer. You can also thank them for letting you on their property. Also, relay in some manner that they cannot come with you. Another reason to have a few more people involved, you're going to go through quite a bit of evidence. You want to be thorough, so you don't miss anything. A lot of times investigators say, this is where they find evidence, but had no idea while they were actually on the hunt. Be critical of your evidence. Not every strange sound is a ghost. You can usually find an alternate explanation. Stay calm and respectful. Continue to communicate clearly and openly. Remember, most spirits are former human beings. They're not here to do you harm most of the time. Generally, they are human or positive energies that want to interact, to be seen, to create mischief. They're not so different from us. They could be confused or want to tell you something. You can set boundaries. Set boundaries by using prayer and some of the other protections mentioned earlier. They are all common supernatural cleansing tools. But remember, if you don't feel safe, and the spirit could possibly harm, it's okay to get out. I hope this tutorial will be a help to you.